Hey everyone, welcome to Collector's Core, Season 1, Episode 1. Right here we have our man Caleb, and I'm Clay. So Caleb, go ahead and introduce yourself. It's going to be a fun journey we're going to have here, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
Mhm.
So my name is Caleb. Dan Danimals Den over on Instagram. Um, yeah, I sent Clay a message maybe like last week or something saying that I
I
thought
think
it
it
would
was a little
be.
while longer, but I kind of was lazy on you, kind of lagged.
I thought it'd be fun. I really enjoy the hobby, and I think it'd be fun to have some consistent conversations with
Hmm.
some other people.
Totally
So yeah,
agree.
that's how we got here.
Yeah. So the whole point, we're just going to be two guys talking cars and mainly cards, really, and just anything. And just kind of see where it goes from there. And hope you guys enjoy. We're gonna talk about some hot take conversations, so some topics, some interesting things going on that we noticed. Especially, he's been in the hobby for a long time. I've been here for not super long, but I'm not like a novice. But yeah, definitely things that we've noticed that are going on, and I like to just kind of talk about it and just have a discussion, have everyone kind of chime in, let us know what you guys think about it. So yeah, I appreciate you even coming up with the idea really and just kind of being like, hey, I feel it'd be cool, we do this every once in a while, record a video, talk about some things. And yeah, so I appreciate you hitting me up for it.
Yeah,
So
man.
definitely
I
be a fun journey. This is season 1, episode 1. Who knows how long we'll do it for, but we're just doing it for fun. We're just doing this for like fun in the hobby. Introduce myself. My name is Clay. Clay's Collectible on Instagram. So I'm gonna put both our Instagram tags up here. Pretty much been collecting since I was a kid. Kind of started with like honestly like Power Rangers. Like I like toys a lot, but it's harder to kind of keep toys, and you can't really have as many toys as compared to cards. So cards are easier to store and everything, and they just look really pretty. Got them when I was younger. Did Pokemon, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, kind of like the main two, and honestly, my mom got me hooked, man. Just from there, just kind of kept going and getting more cards, and here we are today. It's definitely a different time right now with Pokemon. Back to I remember when I was younger, dude. There was like Fire Red Leaf Green EX packs. I was mainly in the EX era, dude. There's packs everywhere, like $4, and I had a whole row. I was like, I'm gonna get that one. I'll get that one. Like nowadays, you can't even get that with terrible sets, so it's
right.
nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, just for fun, what's your like maybe your first like big maybe like Pokemon experience? Like maybe like your first big like pack or first holo pulled or something like that. Just so people get an
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, no, I'll do a little introduction to say, how I got where I am today and what I'm doing
Mhm.
here. But to answer your question, I really don't remember a lot about Pokemon, but the one thing that I do remember is a fossil Slowpoke. That's what I remember
That's
from
an
being
interesting
here.
one.
I know, right? I don't know if it was like the first
Yeah.
pack that I ever opened, if it was the first card that I saw, I'm not sure, but that is my furthest
Hmm.
back memory. So that's something I've carried with me, and I think that's pretty interesting. That's what I remember. I do not remember pulling any hollows. Um,
That
you know,
bad.
I, I'm 30, so you can
Hmm.
do the math. I was fairly young when I first got into it,
Hmm.
and like most people, I got out around middle school when it was no longer
Right.
cool.
Yeah. When was
Um,
that? That was like right after EXs maybe or before EXs or
I think it was I think it was somewhere in there because the
right.
EX is when I came back. So I came back into the hobby. I was actually on a
Hmm.
I'm in the military, so I was on a deployment, and
Okay.
I was watching some Leonhardt videos. I just randomly
Oh
stumbled
yeah.
on it on YouTube, and I was like, "Whoa, people, Pokemon! I remember that." And I kind of got hooked on watching those videos. And
Hmm.
when I came home, I was like, "I want to open a couple of packs," and
Hmm.
so I opened some packs. That was around the time of like Hidden Fates. It was a little bit before.
It, oh, it's
It was
crazy.
a little bit before the COVID era.
Hmm.
Um,
So that's like Hidden Fates. That's probably like 2018, 2019. Then I believe somewhere in that
Yeah,
range,
I think
right?
2019
Okay.
is kind of what is coming to my
Hmm.
mind. it was at the point where there was a, I don't know if you are familiar with the Hidden Fates, the Premium Powers boxes with the Rayquaza, the
Okay,
promo.
yeah, yeah. And the
Um,
Metagross one, the Rayquaza one.
yeah,
Hmm.
those were on the shelves, and I actually distinctly remember thinking, "That's an expensive box. I'm not paying $50."
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And then I felt I had some remorse for leaving it, and I went back the
Mhm.
next day, and it was gone.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Wow.
those are that's kind of where I came back,
Hmm.
and I kind of got hooked once we got into COVID. You couldn't find any products.
Hmm. No, dude, it was bad. It was. I remember doing that in COVID. It was just Champion's Path. I remember, dude, that was nuts. It was like $100 ETB. Like nowadays, think about it, like what Champions Path is today. I was like, what was I doing? Because I actually bought, I was buying Champions Path because I was like, I want to pull a Zard, I want to pull a Zard, and I was like, wow, I was like, how much money did I spend on these terrible packs? Like these packs
I,
are terrible, and the Charizards are like what, like
I,
$200 now?
I remember one time I was at Target.
Hmm.
The big thing back then was going to the store and looking for packs. And
And you could find this sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I probably bought like, I think it was like $200 worth of Hatterene V boxes one day
Oh,
because
wow, okay.
I wanted to pull those Charizards too. I ended up pulling the
Yeah.
Shiny V, which was pretty cool.
That's
Um,
the black shiny Charizard, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It looks really nice.
yeah. I sold it a while ago, but
Mhm.
that was like that was the big thing that I was hunting, and it was awesome because I probably opened 100, maybe like 150 Champions Path
Yeah,
packs.
packs. Well, it's nice now though, because like well, obviously we had more money when we were younger, so like we were like, oh, they're like $4 a pack, and it's like, and you want the card, you're like, screw, it, I want that card so bad. I haven't been in the hobby in like 10 years. Like, I'm gonna spend like $200, dude. It was bad. I bought two custom booster boxes on eBay for like 220. It was like someone just had they opened ETBs and some other like Hatterene boxes or whatever. Put 36 packs in like a bubble mailer, shipped them to me. I did that like two or three times. Never, no Charizard. I got like Dreadnought. I kept getting
Yeah,
every rainbow. I got every single secret rare at least 1 to 2 times,
El
except for the two
Cream V, I
Charizards.
think is what that one is.
I was like, and I was paying not like retail. I was paying like the secondhand market price, like a little bit less because the guy was like pretty cool because I was buying a couple. But
Yeah,
I was like, I'm so down bad if I don't pull it out of these like three custom boxes and just never got. It. I was like, that's crazy.
yeah, I know. Those were interesting times.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so that's kind of once I started opening packs, I then I discovered eBay.
Yeah.
Um, and that's when I bought my first card, which was the Arcanine EX from Legend Maker. I bought
Okay.
it was near mint listed,
Hmm.
and when it came in, it had lots of creases and
Right.
white. But at that time, I didn't know that I could initiate a return, so I ended up keeping the card.
Oh yeah.
And
I feel like everyone's done that.
since it was graded a
Hmm.
4.5, but it's cool to look back on it and see kind of how
Hmm.
far you've come,
Hmm.
because once I discovered grading, and I was like, this well, even before that, my goal was, I'm going to
Right.
get all of the EXs, all the level X's, and all the primes in. I just want them for my collection.
Hmm.
And then I started to get a little bit more picky, and I wanted near mint copies. And then I was like, I want. At the time, I saw how expensive the Charizard EX was, and I was like, it's not going to be feasible
What, the
for me.
fire red leaf green one or which one?
Yeah, Fire Red Leaf
Fire leaf
Green.
green.
I was just like, it's not going to be feasible for me to do this in higher than a grade of a 6.
Right.
So that was my initial goal, and then I started realizing like some of the eights are pretty attainable. They're pretty cheap. So then I started going after eights, and now I'm at the position where it's nines and higher.
There we go.
But it's just interesting to look back.
Hmm.
How far I spent the first like probably 4 years just being total collector boy.
Yeah. Right.
And then this year I decided, and one of the reasons why I wanted to reach out and do this is because I think in order to do this full time, it something good to do would be to have a little bit more of a platform, I guess you could say. Um,
No, I
and
agree.
so, and so that's kind of like one of the reasons why I want to do this and why I'm doing what I am today, which is kind of just going hard to see if it would even be feasible to do this full time, because I make I have a good job,
Mhm.
and if
Are you still in the military? Because I know you said you were in the military.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
a captain. I'm a captain civil engineer in the Air Force.
Okay.
So
Wow. Nice.
um,
Congratulations.
it's definitely a good job. It has its
Hmm.
career really. It's got its ups and downs, but I in order to in order for me to want to leave that and take this up, I would have to know that it's feasible. And so
Right. That
this
makes sense.
this year, I'm like, I am, putting all my cards on the table. I'm probably doing like 60 hours a week easily
Oh wow.
in Pokemon, just to see if
Wait,
it's even.
that's actually great. That's a lot of work. That's-
Yeah,
So
but
hey,
uh,
well.
at the end of the year, I'll know
Mhm.
if I have made enough profit that
Right.
it could work. So
Mhm.
we'll see.
I feel
But
like
yeah,
this year's
that's me.
definitely. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
That's me. That's the history. And
I was gonna say,
fun.
I do want to circle back to the Hidden Fates because I have. I'll circle back to it after, but I feel like this year is like a very interesting year to like because I know like you want to go full dive into it, and it's like because I mean we all know like the market's like booming right now, so
Right.
I don't know if you remember like during the COVID time when like all these stores or people were like, oh, I'm gonna do a store now, and then obviously after the super COVID hype when no one's buying stuff anymore, everyone's like, what? I just opened a store. Why is no one buying my stuff? It's like because like right now is like seems like the most like insane time to be like a seller. So it's like it's almost like I feel like it's like wouldn't it would be kind of like the anomaly kind of year of like every couple years, to see
Sure.
like how your sales would go. Kind of
Yep.
like a lot of stores that were already established before COVID, they like just popped off during COVID, and then after COVID they were fine because they were we we've ran the store for like 5-10 years, like it's after COVID it's like crazy bubble hype was done. It was like all right, we still know how to run the business, and like other people, I heard stories of, like people are, opening stores, LGS is trying to become stores because there's so much money moving around, and yeah, so it's definitely gonna be a crazy year for you then if you like you're spending like even more time this year, but all the craziness going on because I think is this the 30th year or it's in a couple years? It's a next year, right? Next year's 30th year.
I think so. Next year, yeah.
Yeah, 1996 would be 2026 would be 30 year. So yeah, I don't know, maybe because we're building up, maybe next year is going to be even more insane. Has a 30th year anniversary. But
I don't
yeah.
know. I think this. I mean, this is a topic in itself. So if you look back,
Hmm.
what 4 years ago when this popped off last time, I'm
Right.
I wouldn't consider. I'm not a crypto bro, but I think that there are some similarities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Back then, the markets all popped off,
Hmm.
and Pokemon was just another piece of that.
Hmm.
That's kind of happening again. I think it's not the same, but over the last several months, crypto has significantly increased as well.
No, yeah, it definitely
I think
did.
it's just
November to now kind of
it's
popped
really
off.
I think it's cyclical. At this point, we don't know for sure what the future looks like, but I'd say that we thought this was a black swan event back then.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not.
And
Maybe
everyone was saying never gonna happen again. I was like, I don't know, I was a pretty crazy time.
yeah, I didn't think it was going to happen again, but I think maybe the real or maybe the correct way to phrase that is that it might just not happen that same way again.
Hmm.
This boom is different than the last one, and maybe the next one will be different as well.
No,
But
yeah, I agree.
I
This one feels
this
a little more organic because there's not that stimulus check kind of thing that was like a very obvious like no guys, it's literally the stimulus check, it's so obvious, like that's why everything's popping. And now it's like we don't really, I mean, you have other things going on like like crypto and other things that were going up, but it's like that wasn't there's not that extra free money just coming around, so it's like there had to be something more organic, and maybe it's just people are actually finally having more faith into it, so it feels more organic, I think. It still is like a crazy pop, like a crazy like rise, but it feels
yeah,
more organic, especially to us that we were here because it wasn't like one day everything just boom. It was kind of going up by like week by week.
right, and that's why like you're absolutely right. There's a lot of people. I mean, all these brand new people that are coming in here and they're selling products they get off the shelves. They're
Mm-hmm.
here. They're here for the flip. But when I say that this year I decided I was gonna like take it seriously and put a bunch of time and a bunch of effort in,
Mm-hmm.
it was the pop. This pop actually feels. It, when did it even start? Did it even start at the beginning of the year? Like I had what I'm trying to get it to is I made the decision to try this
I think. Sorry.
before any of it even happened. Because I think at the end of the day, uh, first of all, you got to play in the sandbox that you're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think you can be successful even in a downturn, and lots of people prove that. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You just at the end of the day, if you have good stuff and you price it well,
Mm-hmm.
you probably will do all right.
And you're talking about especially eBay, right? We should actually make eBay a topic of like just how amazing eBay is. Like I know everyone hates eBay because
Oh,
it's
I love
eBay,
it. I
but
love it.
honestly, dude, you just throw something on eBay. You even add your extra 50% premium. If you're like the only one with it, it's gonna be gone. Like you're not gonna have to bother about it. Actually,
No.
so the one thing I did notice, I'll put it on the screen later from the Find card, the Gengar VMAX.
Hmm.
So January of last year, a PSA 10 was 360. July was 500, November was 700, and then February is 1300. So it seems like I'll put the post with all the other cards that are like the PSA 10s, and they're the same price of a 9 now. They were all like seem to be September to like October, end of October, November. So maybe must have been like it looks like everything was going up steadily, but then once kind of like November to January hit is when they like just really spiked.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like that's a different thing was where, like I said, it's everything slowly kind of pushed up and then just spiked pretty hard. But yeah, we'll definitely have to make note of that, making Feebay and eBay a
Yeah.
topic because that's actually fun. Or we can talk about it now if you want. It's kind of just on our tongues, or true save it for another one.
We can say that for another one. I think that
Write that down.
these
I love
points
me some
actually.
Feebay.
Yeah. Me too. It's worth its weight. It's worth all the fees. But I think that kind of segues us pretty well into some of the topics we had planned. If you want to pull those up.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So I'll put the screen up here. This is, we did a quick intro. Obviously, you see how we already went off the rails a little bit, but it was fun little COVID talk. I do want to get
Yeah.
back to Hidden Fates. I'll just do my quick little part. I actually just got back during Hidden Fates. That's when I actually got a whole bunch of tins at retail, and we just went on a crazy opening spree. And Hidden Fates, I still think it's slept on. I think it's an amazing set because I would pay like 20, 30, $40 for a tin. I would open a pack and I would pull like a $2, but it'd be like a shining, I don't know, like a shining, I don't know, just say a Magikarp. Like it could have been any card, but just those little tiny like baby shinies or full art shinies, even though they weren't worth much, they felt like a hit. Like everything that you opened was like fun, you know.
Yeah.
Even if you
I
didn't pull like, hmm?
I was just gonna say I fully agree that
Mm-hmm.
Hidden Fates. The problem with today is that I mean, everyone says this now, but it's next set, best set. But
It is.
Hidden Fates is like in my mind, it's like a foundational set
Mm-hmm.
because it introduced the first shinies. Well, not the first shinies. Sorry, the first. I think it was the first full art shinies. It's also at a time where a bunch of people came back.
I think everyone came back actually. Just to throw a little comment in there, I had a lot of people because I made a post about like Hidden Fate Zard being underrated. Like I thought it was
Yeah,
underpriced because it was like 500. Now it's up to like almost like 900. But a lot of people were like, "Dude, Hidden Fates was my first set that made me come back." Like everyone, a lot of people have messaged me like on that comment. They're like, "Dude, like Hidden Fates this is the reason why I came back in." Like that's literally the only reason I came back in. I was out like you, and I saw Hidden Fates, and I was like, "That looks kind of fun. Let me try to rip some of it." And then it was just, but you're back in.
yeah. No, I think that there's definitely a few of those sets. I think Evolutions is one. Hidden
Mhm.
Fates is one. Unfortunately, I really hate to say it, but Evolving Skies is one.
Yeah, and Fall Evolvement Skies, yes. It's
I mean,
definitely
that's yeah.
we can't even deny it though. It is what
I
it is. It's the king
I
of modern sets.
I hate it, but it truly is.
Hmm. I mean, that's what happens when you have. I think that's the thing about the other sets. What I don't like about modern too much is it feels like some of the sets were like I think Champion's Path is a good example. It's you either hit the two Zards or everything else is like a quarter. But
Yeah,
then like you
all the
have
change.
Evolvement Skies, you have like what you have like seven or nine, I don't know how many. Like VMAX EVs, you got the Rayquaza, the Dragonite, and then you just have the V alt arts. You have like you got like 20 alt arts that are like really amazing, and then you have the other sets where it's you have one card like the Giratina V. You can hit the Giratina, or you don't hit Giratina. Everything else is bathwater, just trash, garbage.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest issue with modern. It's just it's not a good experience to open it
No, it's
99%
terrible.
of
It's
the time.
terrible.
Back I'm just gonna say back in the day, even though I don't remember opening those packs,
hmm
the hollows they meant more.
hmm
Now if you don't hit an alt, you probably aren't happy. Like
hmm
that's just the truth.
Yeah, the new hollows they look not that they look bad. It's just like you're just like they go in my bulk. I'm like, dude, like it's got to be a full art, or it's got to be like even EXs almost at this point are kind of like not even cool.
Oh
You
no,
know?
if you hit a base EX,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
terrible. That's not good.
yeah,
That goes in the bulk.
yeah. It really does. Yeah. Well, it's funny that we have actually on the summary of the population matter, like the pull rate. So we'll definitely dive into that
Yeah.
about like especially modern cards. Um, so yeah, just a quick hot take of the day. Personally, I'm taking the Sumbreon over the Moonbreon. Um, not that I don't like the Moonbreon, but my crazy take of it is it makes me think of like King Kong. Not that that's a bad thing. King Kong's kind of cool, but he's just like a guy, ginormous Umbreon climbing a tower. I don't know. It's a little. Not that I don't hate it, but I just think the Umbreon just is like looks more has like a lot more going on. It looks crazier. Personally, I like Umbreon more. What do you think? I know people don't like that take. They love the VMAX because maybe it's Evolvement
I
Skies. It's the king.
honestly I agree. I think it's a better looking card. It
hmm
the Moonbreon. I mean they're both obviously they look animated, but the
Yeah.
Moonbreon just looks I don't know. But my take is honestly that they both suck. So
uh,
and my hot take is that this is one of the best modern cards.
we'll definitely show that. That is the Crown Zenith Secret Rare Pikachu, correct?
Yep. And
And it's
I
textured, right?
it is, yeah. I
It's a lovely card. Who's all
I
on
am
it?
I am biased
Mhm.
because I have a lot of them, but I truly think that's a great looking card.
It really is. Yeah, and it's a secret rare.
And it's in Crown Zenith, which
hmm
is a I think Crown Zenith is going to be another one of those sets personally because it's a
hmm
good opening experience. There's a lot of cards in there that feel good to hit. So
Yeah, because Crown Zenith has the gold squad, right? The Palkia, Dialga,
yep,
Arceus, Giratina.
yep,
That is actually the good topic you mentioned. Is like those four like actually like encompass a full portrait of like one card, which is like you don't see that really too often.
no,
Where you need
and,
all four to make like one image, and it looks like really sick.
and the Glaceon, the Leafeon cards. If you like
hmm
EV cards,
Yep.
those are some of the best art EV
hmm
cards in my opinion. The Leafeon is gorgeous. Love that card.
It's a Leafeon like V Star, right? I believe.
Yeah,
Okay.
its tail is like sitting in some water.
hmm
It's a great looking card.
I'll throw that up here as well. It's a really nice set. I think the set is actually going back up again. I believe I seen I thought I saw a video. There's like a buyout like packed for like $8, maybe more, pack now or something, $8 to $10 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It seems like they're maybe a little bit cheaper than that, but I think over time, it's gonna get up there.
hmm
I've
I
got
think you got to give credit to the sets that have like again. I don't like sets with one hit. I like sets that have 10 pretty decent like really nice hits and then
yeah,
one good hit. Like that way, there's so much to go around. You're not just banking on one card. You pull the Pikachu, you're happy. You pull the Leafeon, you're happy. You pull one of the gold cards, you're extremely happy. Um, but yeah. So how many of those Pikachu's do you have? Like 100? You're one of those buyouts, huh?
Well, so that card is actually it's hard to buy out because it was in the set. I think
Hmm.
that it was more available, but I have a lot,
Hmm.
more than 100.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, wow. I got like four. I was like, oh, cool.
I just so the way that one of my in order to have a decent margin on a card, you have to. Did you just switch the screen?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
his stop share just because we were talking real quick. I'll go
all right,
back to it.
cool.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so obviously some of the things I don't know if you've heard of what's it called, graded gem, I think it is. Dan Ketchum Collectibles
Oh,
talks about
okay.
all that.
Yes, yes.
But basically, what that thing does is it looks at the raw price of a card. It looks at the graded price of a card, and it determines based on the likelihood of hitting a grade, a 10. It calculates what sort of a profit margin you're
Hmm.
going to make.
Hmm.
And so then I I kind of just do that for myself, and I look at cards, and that card was, I mean, it was it was like $5 for a long time before I switched to this kind of, let me see how far I can take this mindset.
Hmm.
Um, that card was like $15 to $20, and it still is now. But in a
Hmm.
10, it's worth 100 minimum.
Right.
Um, so it's just there's a great margin there,
Hmm.
and it's a Pikachu, and it's got a shitload of other really nice Pokemon
Yeah,
on it.
who else is on there? You just mentioned real quick. I think it's Zora,
Uh,
right, or someone, or
Zoroark,
Mhm.
Crobat,
All right,
Calyrex,
yeah.
Inteleon, Zacian, and
Okay.
then Urshifu. It looks like, yeah. So I
Yeah.
just think it's a really cool card. It has a great margin. It's easy to grade. Well, it
Hmm.
was. I don't know if it still is. We'll find
Yeah,
out.
right.
Um,
Yeah, I just sent a couple of mine, and they look like really good quality control on those cards. So before now, or
yeah,
Pokemon's
Sword and
quality
Shield
control
era
fell
it
off.
truly was the best of
Hmm.
printing quality. It was really good.
Really is. Yeah, so that's cool. It's funny you mentioned that $5. Like when you thought about that, at least I'm thinking, because I was buying some random cards. I was like some like IRs. I was like these IRs cost like half of a pack, half of a pack at retail, not even half of a pack. I'm like, dude, like I could buy like three of these, four of these, and that's the price of like one second hand market pack. I was like, I'd rather just have these four cards instead of just rip one pack. So like you bought that secret rare pretty much for the same price as a full retail pack. I like
Yeah,
per one. It's pretty crazy.
yeah. No, there's a lot of cards like that,
Hmm.
and most people just don't. They're not looking for that. For one, because you have to have a specific mindset.
Hmm.
But for two, because everyone just chases what's popular.
Right.
That's why, and maybe we can segue into the next point. Like
Sure.
that's why the drowsy is going so crazy,
Yeah.
because that's the next hot thing.
Yes. Let me throw this screen back on again. Let me know if you can see it.
Yeah,
Can
I
you?
can see it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So we'll jump into the Moonbreon Drowsy, and I did add some information at the bottom, which I was actually very surprised by. I did not know it was that bad. Um,
That's pretty low gem rate.
that's an extremely low gem rate on a brand new card. Um, I was actually kind of surprised that there's that many graded already. I don't know if maybe a lot of them were just been pushed there right now, but I'm definitely gonna try to see if I can find like a graph or like some sort of quick little visual of like I don't think this card was $800 too long ago. Like no, right? It was not nearly that much.
This spike was
Hmm.
very recent, and I saw a video recently where somebody talked about seeing the gem rate and then buying out the raw. I think it was Danny Phantom, and there maybe there's a little bit of merit there to having a high price because of how low the gem rate is, but I don't believe that it's gonna sustain. I mean, it's a drowsy. Why do people
Yeah, I
care?
was very surprised by seeing Drowsy. I was like,
Do people care so much about pop that they want to pump this drowsy? I don't think so. I truly think that it's just it's just hype driven, and I think it's gonna plummet because
So
what other drowsy cards are worth anything?
so a quick note on that, I probably should have written in here. Apparently the main reason for it is the illustrator, uh, Kumuya. Come on, I don't. Sorry, I might not know how to pronounce their name very well. Um, they're the illustrator that did Pokemon cards. You can still see my screen, right?
Yep, I think they did the
Um,
magic card,
they
but
did
that's
a lot of like really popular cards. Sometimes I go in here to check out like this card actually went up a lot. All
yep.
the Excalibur set,
Hmm.
where they did all these ones. Like this one actually got bought out. I'm
Oh,
not
did
exactly.
it?
Oh, they did this one, the EV Snorlax.
Okay.
Funny enough, if you look up like a bunch of these cards on like TCG Player, they're like almost completely gone. So I actually really love this card. I didn't even know that it was Kamuya. I might be butchering their name. Tomo. Let me see right here. Tomokazu Kamiya. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely from what I was like checking, it was like because of the illustrator mainly. I mean, it is a pretty cool card, but I agree with you. I was like, why are people buying a drowsy?
Well,
I don't
yeah, but
I don't think
be,
there's ever been a cool drowsy card.
because
It
of
is
the
a cool card though.
illustrator,
It's a
why?
cool card. Yeah,
Because of the illustrator, why? Like nobody did anybody
not
care
sure.
before? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. I mean,
I think the rest
those.
of the cards are being bought out because people are trying to make plays on the illustrator.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. It all feels like just hype to me.
It is. I
Um,
mean, look at the promos. Like, look, have you noticed like a lot of promo cards are now just being like bought out like crazy because people are just wanting to create a hype there and see where it goes. Granted, I do believe some of them were too cheap. Like some of the like Greninja Gold Star. I had three of them. I just traded them because they're like $15 sealed. But I was like, dude, I literally had three of them in my bulk, like sealed. They just
yeah,
look sick. But someone was like, I'll give you 45 trade for those. I was like, no kidding. I was like, sure. you know?
yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, like that card when it was like $5, I was like, that's too cheap.
This this was
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it is still, but this was too cheap in my opinion.
Is it a promo?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I posted this on my Instagram maybe like last week or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Yeah, so population.
Yeah. Yeah.
It only I just something that I feel like I'm hearing, and maybe it's valid, but it only matters when it matters.
Yeah.
In
No,
this
that's really true.
in this case, it doesn't matter with Moonbryon.
Yeah.
Everyone says it doesn't matter. There's so much demand that population doesn't matter.
We can
But
see
then
73% gem rate. If that's just a PSA.
right.
Almost 15.5 thousand just a PSA, and I'm not to include all the CGC gems and pristines, all the BGS 10s, probably the tag 10s. That's probably like probably like 30,000 of these graded probably in total.
Yeah. But then on the other side, it does matter on the drowsy, or at least that's what people are saying.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing to think about because I look at Drowsy. If I saw Drowsy was 1,600 of 1,800 graded PSA 10, I don't think it would be a $800 card. But you see 372. When I was looking at this number, I didn't know how bad it was. I was like, 800 makes sense. It's 20% gem rate. The card raw is like what, like $80 now, $100 now. So I was like, okay, it's literally one of five mint ones, or obviously that doesn't work. But some people say like, oh, the gem rate's 20%. If I just send five, one will 10. I'm like, that's not really how it works.
Right.
But but yeah, it's weird because the drowsy makes sense with the gem rate being low, but then the Umbreon just says, I don't care. Would gem rate doesn't matter. It is really an anomaly card. I don't know if there's really another card with the high gem rate that just says, no, we're just gonna keep going up in value and just be what
Well,
we are.
aren't all modern alts? Don't they all have high pops?
They do.
Like
Um,
does the difference between 5,000 and 15,000 matter?
I think that's a big difference, but that's still a lot. Like I guess what you're saying, like if there was population 5,000 PS10 drowsies. That being $800, I couldn't believe it. If DROWZEE had a 5,000 PS10s for sale or on the market, I don't know where I don't think it would be close to 800. I think it would be a lot less. But yeah, that was weird. I had a couple when it was like 1,000 PS10. That was like like 10,000 pop ago, and now it's like triple that. I'm like, how does this make sense? So it definitely baffles me.
Yeah,
But
I just have a little bit of a a grudge against Moonbryon, honestly.
yeah,
I
definitely.
just it just defies everything that I feel like should make sense.
Hmm. It really
It,
does.
yeah, it's tough.
All right, so I think now's probably a perfect time to go into what you added on the page, which was the uh, what is the new norm? So I'm gonna let you go ahead and take this off.
Yeah, man, the new norm. It's it's interesting. I mean, what do you think? Is a PSA 10 Sunbreon really worth 3 to 5K?
So you know what was actually interesting? This is my take on it. I actually wrote down a number of there's 431 PSA 10s out of 1,080, so it's about 40%. Which, when you look at Umbreon, it's literally 73%. Honestly, I'm pretty curious to see how high Moonbreon's like the original, uh, Moonbreon VMAX, because we all know the original Moonbreon's the Neo. But everyone's. I have a feeling there's a lot of people right now that are just kind of getting into card grading, and they're just buying like an Umbreon on TCG Player and just sending it to get graded. I have like a small feeling that the grading percent gem rate has like gone down significantly probably in the last year. But it is crazy to think about this brand new card. Literally everyone's pulling it and immediately sending it to PSA, and the gem rate is about 40-ish% for a modern card. So do I think it's maybe 3 to 5K? I don't know. So my only reasonings for why it would be that much is one, extremely hard to grade. Two, it's probably one of the most beyond hype sets, and it's pretty much just like it was like holding on to Evolving Skies hype, and then just like let go and just like when you like trail someone and like racing. That's this new set is literally just held on to Evolving Skies and then just completely took off. Other than that, I think the fact that this card came out and it was already what was it, like 1,200 plus raw, 2,000 raw or something crazy, like
I think
1,500 raw.
I think initially it was a couple thousand raw.
Yeah.
I think what's it? I think maybe it's around 1,500 now,
Hmm.
probably.
But I
Yeah,
mean, just like thinking of that, thinking of it coming out that expensive already, seeing a PS10 being double, maybe a little bit, almost triple more as much, and the gem rate's really low. I've opened 70 packs of this new set, and I pulled nothing. I have pulled, I don't know if I have it. I have like trainer, and then trainer, and then trainer, and then trainer. I'm like, dude. And then I pulled a gold card, and I was like, oh, it must be only the Pikachu, thinking Pikachu was the only gold card, and it was Iron Treads. I was like, no, Iron Leaves. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But like, I've experienced how bad this set is with pull rates. There's no boxes, so there's no guaranteed one hit per box. You have ETBs. You're just rolling the dice. So I think it's really high of price of a card, but I can see why it's this much. I want to see what you agree disagree with.
well, you know, I guess that's why the slide is titled this is
Right.
you know is this the new norm?
Hmm.
Because if my next bullet point on there is Moonbryon, I can't remember specifically because it, the today's modern day hype, it was not there
Hmm.
back in 2021 when Moonbryon came out.
I think it
Um,
was 160 to 200 was a pretty common price for a Moonbreon, the original
right,
one.
and
Hmm.
a PSA 10 was probably between 300 and 500 if I had to guess.
Yeah, yeah, I believe so because I had one for like 600, I think. So I'm sure there was some cheaper before that. So yeah, oh, it
and,
definitely
and
was.
today it has built up to, something between 2,000, 3,000, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but maybe this Sunbreon, Moonbreon 3.0, maybe it's all of its future price growth is just built in straight away, because
Okay.
ultimately that's demand is what drives it.
Hmm.
And if we have like, I'll just say 100% demand upon release,
Hmm.
we didn't have that with Evolving Skies.
No.
Now we do, because the market has changed and it has shifted. I don't know, maybe maybe this is the new norm. I do personally, it's probably just a bias, but I think it's all gonna come crashing down. I really do. But I can't ignore how much demand and how much excitement there is, and some of this is probably real.
Hmm.
I don't think it should be 3 to 5K. I think
Yeah.
1K sounds reasonable. Um,
Is hearing the pop being a 40% gem rate kind of make you be like, okay, well, that is kind of you think about a $1,500 raw card and it only gem rate 40%, like, and then you gotta maybe think. At least I think most people that don't have a perfect copy, they probably just don't bother sending it. And some that have like one like borderline perfect, they're like, maybe I'll just hope that he gets a 10. But
well,
does that
so
kind of sway you a little bit? Okay, maybe I could see why people are paying 35K for it.
I personally think it's tough. It's not, there's not a single variable in this case, and we'll touch more on this
Mhm.
in our grading episode. But I just think that print quality is lesser in Scarlet and Violet than in
It's
Sword and Shield.
terrible.
I
It's
can I can
terrible.
I can 100% acknowledge that.
Hmm.
But not only is print quality worse, the standard, it hasn't been. Nat Turner said it wasn't
Little
changed.
sneak peek, guys, in the next episode. Yeah.
He said it wasn't changed, but anecdotally, why is everyone saying that it has? I haven't started submitting worse cards. I've
Hmm.
started submitting better cards, and I'm getting worse results.
Hmm.
So at some point, it's like, is it anecdotal if everybody is saying it? Um, so I think that there's those two very important things driving the pop of this card down. Yes, it is worse print quality, but I know a guy who pulled one,
Hmm.
submitted it, looks perfect. He got a 9.
Really? Was it a little
I
off
don't know.
center maybe or something, or just
Probably a
something?
little bit off center. Well,
Hmm.
probably a little bit off center, but
Yeah, we'll definitely dive into this in the grading because this is a little tad bit. If anyone doesn't isn't aware, PSA's 60/40 PSA 10 is kind of for the most part erased. There's some speculation that sometimes they let it go if everything else about the card is beyond perfect, and then maybe it's 60/40 on paper, but maybe to the eye it doesn't look that bad. But if it's like a very noticeable 60/40, maybe they just auto nine it. I don't know. Personally, I never hated 60/40 because people act like it's, I don't know. I'd rather have like a clean card, like clean
Mhm.
corners, clean surface. Like I want, especially like a vintage card, I would rather have a perfect hollow and a little off centered than a card with some scratches and being perfectly centered and having the same grade. So like I don't care too much about centering. I'm not like an OCD person like that. But 60/40, I think it's crazy if they did change it. And yeah, I know we could go on this topic forever. But yeah, it's crazy and not to tell anyone. So I guess it's kind of hard because I guess there's not even any proof that they changed it or not. But I maybe it's up to the grader. Who knows? We'll dive into this later. That
Yeah,
is such a topic, dude. It's the hottest topic. It's like a
it
hot hidden topic no one's talking about because they don't want to talk about it. No one wants to talk about it. It's
yeah,
yeah, but
it's yeah, it's a tough one. It's a game changer, honestly. Like
it really is.
it it might change how a lot of people try and do things,
Hmm.
because you can. There's a lot of people, vendors, for example, they make their money by flipping cards that they buy at a percentage.
Yeah.
But the best way to make money in this hobby is to buy a raw card and grade it a 10. That is unquestionably the best way. That's all of your you create so much value by grading a card. And
Yeah,
if
20 bucks, you gain it 30 bucks, you gain it 50 bucks. Usually you gain it like 100, 200, 300, 400. It's like, all duh. It's like
yep.
obvious. Hmm.
Yeah, so I mean it really could be a game changer. And it could change the way that I'm doing things as soon as I started. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, but
Modern nines are,
they are.
anything modern under a 10 is.
But to get back to kind of the last
Mhm.
topic on
Sure.
this slide, what do you think about box prices? You got any thoughts on that?
So, like for the ETBs or which boxes? Are you talking about like Evolving Skies, Fusion
Well,
Strikes, or are you talking about new stuff?
we can just generally say sealed prices,
Okay.
like modern sealed prices.
Oh, I got a take on this. I got to take.
All right,
I
let's hear it.
believe people think, okay, so here's my take on it. Evolving Sky is like $1,000 a box, $1,200 a box.
Yep.
My concern with that is when we talk about base set boxes, jungle, fossil, all those boxes. You talk about like EX era. Those ones probably a little worse, but like say the first gen boxes, right? Say you buy a box when base set was like 10,000, right? But base set in all these old sets, one of three packs was a hollow, a hit. So out of your 36 packs, you're
A
getting
hit doesn't
12,
matter.
12 big hits.
Yep.
I don't care if I pulled hollow jungle Jolteon. I don't know, maybe Jolteon is probably one of the better ones anyways, but yeah, like and there's only what, like 15 hits. You get a base set box. Your chances of pulling a Charizard are like probably 80-90%. You probably pull two. Like you're not gonna buy a base set box and not get one of the three starters. You're probably gonna get at least two of them. You buy a box of Evolving Skies, you might get one trainer. You might get another one trainer. You might get a rainbow or whatever. Then it takes you, well, like, what was it? I saw there was like a visual of it. It's like 1 in 3,000 packs to pull your one specific VMAX Altar. That's like
Yep.
20 boxes or something. So it's like at $1,200 a box, I don't think anyone's opening any modern boxes anymore. I think everyone's just buying it strictly to keep it sealed, hoping that it goes up. But I don't know how much more it'll go up because people aren't going to be opening it. It's always going to be just like someone wanting to hold it till they can sell it to someone else. Versus like vintage boxes, they got bought out and they're still getting bought out because people want to open them because it's still fun. Like, because you're 1 in 3 packs, you're getting a hit. Like vintage boxes will always be openable because you can always get something guaranteed. You're not going to open a Evolving Skies box for 1,200, 2,000 because once you pull that one rainbow, you're like every other pack's dead, and then this whole box is dead. It's just like, yeah. So I personally think like these, I don't know how I feel about the box prices because I feel like all these cards, these boxes are getting too expensive to make them even openable anymore. That's my
Well,
take.
well, how about just how they release? So recently, actually, it was probably the start of the Scarlet and Violet era, wasn't it? They increased MSRP to 160. But
Yeah.
the problem now is that there's so much demand
Hmm.
that you can't even buy a box for 160. You know,
Things like 200 plus, 200, 220. Yeah.
yeah, I think what's the new set?
Journey
Journey Together.
together.
Yeah,
It
that's
does come with a
probably.
promo though, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh man, don't get me started on promos. These stupid stamps that add thousands of dollars to these cards. It's absurd to me. But
Oh, the
I
Pokemon
guess,
Center promo. So
yeah, I
I
guess it's
do
no
have
different.
to agree. This card is a pretty crazy looking promo. Um,
Yeah, but the real question is it textured, or is it just going to
that
be
is a
another?
really good question. I think that's a game changer. If that
Is
card
it
is
just gonna be
textured,
another
that's
IR?
something. That's
Yeah,
something.
that's it. I
Um,
mean, it's a good looking card for sure. And does that only come with the
the
booster box?
box. It only comes in the box.
Okay,
There's a video that leaked of someone had an English box and they opened it and the card was at the top.
all right. I mean, that's cool. I think that the
It is
box
cool.
top
Yeah.
was awesome. I can't believe they got rid of it. To be honest.
And it's sealed. It's not like the Raikou where it's just flailing.
Oh, it is. It's in a sealed pack.
It's in a
That's
sealed
awesome.
pack, I believe. Yeah.
Nice.
That would be crazy if it was just not in the top, just flying around everywhere. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, dude, it is crazy. Like just boxes are $200. You know, the I guess we'll just have to see where it goes. We're in a crazy time because we have this prismatic, then we have Journey Together, and then we have some Destin Rivals, the
Yep.
new. I don't believe it's just solely Team Rocket, right? It's Team Rocket and other teams.
Yeah, no, that seems right to me.
So
Because
we're back to back to back to back, just gonna have some crazy hot sets. Which
yeah, on the point of sealed though, going back to COVID, if this does repeat itself,
Mhm.
these could be the next Chilling Reign and Fusion Strike boxes that we could see well overprinted and have massive supply and be
Mhm.
available at $80 to $100 again.
Yeah.
And like yeah, it just feels very cyclical. And if that happens, maybe it's a good idea to buy a couple,
Mhm.
because if this is just a cycle, then maybe we'll look back on this video in 4 years and be like, hey, we were just here,
Yeah. I
So
will say I saw a video, Pokey NE and a couple of people. They made statements on their allocations for Journey Together and
mhm.
saying they got absolutely creamed. And they're not just like random small people. They've had years and years of relationships with their allocations and distributors. So they're just saying that they're not getting nearly as much as they expected. And I'm wondering if that's maybe Pokemon Center is either they're just not really printing as much as they could be, or maybe they're just backed up with other stuff, or the demand is too crazy. The people are trying to buy it from them privately, like distributors. But this next set, at least, I think will have a really bad circulation issue, at least to start, which I think might be kind of crazy because that's gonna make things go crazy. It's kind of like manipulated pricing because it's just gonna make the prices go up because everyone's gonna fight for it. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
it's
know.
hard to say. I've seen a couple of people talk about there's this swath of stores that don't normally ask for product that are now asking for product, which is what's making it more scarce.
Free money,
Like let's use Jay's Sporting Good for example.
right?
They're not getting booster boxes. So to me it's kind of weird that they would say that they're getting more heavily allocated because other stores are like sport like Jay's that like Walmart whatever that they
Mhm.
don't get booster boxes. So I don't know. It's weird.
Oh, just to reiterate, I wasn't saying they were getting less because other stores. I was kind of just making that random point. But from what I saw, was what they stated was they're not getting as much as they asked for. They didn't say
Well,
why.
there so
I was just kind of speculating either Pokemon Centers is not printing or other stores are asking for too
yeah,
much or paying more than them maybe.
I have I have heard some good points though.
Hmm.
Are they telling us that they're not getting what they asked for, or are they telling us that they're not getting what they normally get? Because if I normally get 500 boxes and I know that I'm going to be able to sell 5,000 and I ask for 5,000
Hmm.
and I get 2,500, it's I don't know that's I'm not saying that's dishonest, but it's not. It's like it's telling a different story because I'm actually getting more or the same as what I normally get, but I'm getting less than I asked for. So I think it just depends on
That's what you're saying.
because Pokey Ne, for example, he says I'm asking for 10,000 boxes. I can't buy 10,000, but I'm going to ask for that much
Hmm.
because they know they're not going to get what they ask for. So
Yeah, all the stores know. They always know to go for 20. They want 100, they'll ask for 2,000 because they know they only get like 5%, 10% maybe or whatever.
yeah,
So,
I don't
I
know.
mean, I take his word for it. 'Cause I know like I don't know about like other stores and vendors, but I know like he's pretty honest about everything. But I've
Yeah,
seen like I saw several videos of people, at least titles, saying their allocations are just completely cooked right now. I guess I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe by the time the set comes out, maybe there's Pokemon Center's like, here you go, guys, and they have it already, like you say with like Chill and Rain, or maybe it's just like really backed up. Maybe they're trying to. I don't know why Pokemon's still reprinting 151. It's been like 4 years. But they're like, oh, let's not do the new sets. Let's keep doing 151 for you guys. I mean, it's good because people need more of that set, but it's
Yeah.
a little old news.
Hey, next set, best set.
Yeah. So I mean, but we're definitely in for a pretty crazy year with all these sets. I mean, I guess the one thing we even bring back to is like Chilling Reign. Fusion Strike was a good set, but like other sets, they took forever to pop off. I think they're only popping off because of current market, but like they
Yeah.
weren't really that good of sets. It was like, but right now it's like this one, 151, this one, Journey, and then Destin, and then who knows what's after that. Like every set seems to be like banger, 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 banger. It's pretty crazy to get like good sets back to back to back.
I think it remains to be seen whether or not Journey is going to be a good set, in my opinion. And I also think that Surging Sparks is well overhyped and
I don't
well
like Surgeon
overhyped.
Sparks. I agree.
Everyone is saying like Surging Sparks is so good. It's going to be one of the. I, I'm generalizing when I say everyone. I hear a lot
Right,
of content creators
right.
say it's going to be one of the best sets in the era, and I'm just thinking in my head like,
Surging, no, 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 no.
what Surging has a Pikachu and a Latias. That's
Yeah, that's about it.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Next set, best set.
I
That's
like
all I.
Destin's. I've done some Destin's Journey because I like the trainers, but I like the way they did the trainers, like with the Cleffa, Lily. I mean, we all know the Lily stands out there. Like
Yeah.
Pokemon knows, they know what they're doing. The N, people love N. People love Cynthia. People love. I don't know if Misty's in there. She might be right.
I'm not sure.
So I believe I heard that, at least in some sets, Misty's gonna have like a Gyarados card again. So it's
Ooh.
like, yeah, exactly. So if Journey Together does all the trainers, that's a fun. It's like fun, even if they're not all crazy. If you
I
give me
really
a
do
whole
like
bunch of
how they,
trainers
yeah, I like
across
how they
multiple
paired.
generations, then it's cool.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I'll wait to see when you have all the boxes on your story. I
No,
I definitely want to
I
open it.
really like how they paired the trainers with the Pokemon. Like having the trainer like their face in the background.
Yeah.
Maybe I have that backwards. I think that looks really cool.
Let me see if I can pull up. I wonder if you can see this like a quick card list. Um, didn't think we'd talk about Journey Together. It is a pretty cool set though. And it might just be a few cards of the set.
I
Oh, and
picked
I heard
up
there was
a
a available
Japanese
too.
copy.
Yeah. I don't know how to filter to like the hits. Let me see if I can find it. So the
Probably
regular ones kind of have this, and then let me see if it has. All right, here's the hits. I mean, the Articuno looks crazy. That's a really cool card. I heard people going crazy about the Japanese one. The Whaler looks amazing. So I mean, they look good. That's cute. Yeah, these ones. That's pretty cool.
Yes, I like those ones a lot.
This one's really cool. Yeah.
I picked up one of the N and one of the. Actually, I bought several of the Lily. Some of them look really good. They do.
And then yeah, especially the alt art ones, like
Those are
that Salamence is
expensive.
crazy.
Those are expensive.
Oh, I know. Okay, so maybe it's the next set. Because I was hearing rumors of a Misty card coming out with the Gyarados and Starmie and stuff. So maybe it's the next set coming out. But this is also the Japanese one. I think English set's usually bigger. I guess we'll just have to find out what's in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, should be a fun set. The one after. Um, I like when Pokemon does this where they have like a brand new kind of style and design to it. You know, because this is we haven't had. I feel like trainers in a. I feel like the last trainers we had were the trainer galleries, which were like, they were like, this the level one of this. Like they were like, here's a little peek of like trainers and cards, and now they're like, okay, fully going in trainers and cards with the with these. Yeah, I think it'd be a fun set.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I didn't get any on Pokemon Center, but you
Neither
never
did
know.
I. I don't even try anymore. It's just
It's a
not worth the time. It's not worth the time.
Yeah, I paid for a subscription. It's like $7 a month. I just did 1 month just to see if I can get it. Literally, it's like cards are live. Open phone, sold out. Live, sold out. I'm like, dude, it's literally in like seconds.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. And then let's go to your last.
Yeah, let's do
I
it.
don't know if we really dove over too much, but let you take the lead on this. We'll talk about
Sure.
this. I know we've taken up everyone's a lot of time. We'll do a little sneak peek into part two, and just appreciate everyone that's been here. If you're still listening, comments on Arcanine or Mew. Which one's your favorite? And then go ahead, take it away.
There we go. Yeah, so the vintage versus modern thing it's been around for a while now.
Mhm.
I think probably most people like both, but I wanted to include a little segment on this because it's such a popular topic.
Mhm.
So I hear a lot that modern hits are more rare than vintage hits, and just to give you an example. I think an IR is maybe like 1 in 12 packs, whereas so what is that? There's 3 in a booster box,
Yeah.
and back in the day, the EXs, depending on what set, I think earlier you could get 3 in a box, maybe 4. Later on, you could only get 2. But um, while that's not wrong, technically the pull rates are harder. I think it's important to highlight the fact that that's not taking into account the only thing that's taking into account is the difficulty to pull. I think
Mhm.
some people need to take into account is the cost of the pull versus the difficulty, because you could say in a case of EX Deoxys, you're potentially going to pull all 3 gold stars, but like, what is that going to cost? Is that even feasible to do today? Whereas in a case of Evolving Skies, you might not. You probably won't hit an Umbreon VMAX.
Mhm.
Um, and I just think it's overlooked. It's kind of like looked down on when people they're trying to hype up modern and say it's so much harder to hit this stuff than it used to be.
Yeah.
In reality, there's so much more of the product today. There's so much more of the product being opened
Right.
that it's just kind of like comparing apples and oranges in my mind. It's not like an equal comparison. I guess is kind of what I'm getting to.
So I agree. I think if we're talking 1-to-1 packs, then obviously modern is way harder to hit. But hey, you give me 1,000 EX Deoxys packs, and I give you 1,000 Evolving Skies packs. Deal. I'll make that trade any day. So you can't compare the two sets because I'm sure what one Deoxys pack would be what like
Just call it
50
500.
100 Evolving Skies packs equivalent like price wise.
I think Evolving Skies is probably around $20.
And then what's Deoxys 2,000 or no like isn't it 1,000 2,000 1,500 2,000 something like that
I guess I'm not entirely sure. It's probably somewhere between 500 and 1,000. I'd say.
for EX Deoxys?
Yeah, I think if you got it for 500, you'd be happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about like a box break pack? I'm saying like that. That'd probably be like
Probably 1,500 at least.
1,500, right? So
'Cause I think
1,500
people are
divided
probably
by
charging
20, 75 packs. So I think people should consider, if it's harder to pull every 75 packs of Evolving Skies at market value, not in retail, is one market value price of Deoxys. So
Well, and even being able to open that many packs, it's not feasible because they're
yeah, and you can get 75 packs easy all day.
right. I can buy up 75 packs of Evolving Skies instantly right now if I really wanted to.
I have some right now. If you want to open it.
I got a couple of packs too, but no, thank you. It will literally be Evolving Cries for sure.
Oh no, yeah. I opened I hit the Walmart tins when they released. Like
Oh, nice.
yeah, I opened I was like, screw it. Packs were like $30 a piece. So I was like, let me open like 10 of these Evolving Skies. Literally a full hollow. I was like, this is terrible. Like literally $200 of value to my like luckily I paid $60 for those packs, but I was like, this is literally like $200 I just threw away. Like, damn. It's crazy.
It just feels bad. opening.
Yeah, I
Opening
mean, here's a graph of just the pull rates of Evolving Skies. Like, it's terrible. It's really terrible just to pull a certain one. But yeah, I totally agree with all your points. You can't really compare hits versus hits because obviously you can't get 1,500. How many packs is it for 1,600? You can't get even 100 Deoxys packs unweighed. Like you're
right.
not gonna get
Yeah,
that.
it's just
Impossible.
it's not gonna.
Yeah, and if you do, you're gonna pay some crazy number if someone found a 100 EX unweighed packs.
Yeah, and one of the downsides rolling into the next point is because of that, because this stuff isn't available, it's not mainstream.
Hmm.
To be honest, it sucks because I like vintage more than modern.
Hmm.
They're both good, but I like vintage.
Right.
Vintage is probably the demand is probably always going to stay muted because it's just not readily accessible,
Yeah.
and so the pops matter more in vintage. I can definitely acknowledge that because there's not a ton of people that are out there looking for a PSA 10 Arcanine EX. So while it's low pop, it's
Hmm.
probably somewhere below 100 if I had to guess. Like
Probably
there,
probably a lot less.
yeah. It's so yeah. Unfortunately, we're for the most part, I'd say vintage is probably going to be a lot more stable. Um,
Yeah. I mean, you're
yeah,
never gonna see the vintage pops go up. Like, okay, you might maybe Arcanine goes up 10 in a year. But like, you're never gonna see it go doubled its pop in 1 year. Like, that's never gonna happen. It's never gonna. I think every card is probably gonna have another one or two show up, but yeah, the pop's never really gonna change with vintage. Low pop's probably always gonna be a low pop card. Don't have to worry
yeah,
about pops with. I feel like because like the pop kind of adds more flavor to vintage because a lot of cards are low pop and they're always gonna have that. So it's like might as well say it's a low pop card because it
well,
adds
every
more flavor to
vintage
it.
card is low pop now.
Yeah.
Every vintage card.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but
I'm gonna start doing that. If I get an Umbreon VMAX, I'm gonna be like, for sale, low pop of 15,500.
hey, today's low pop is tomorrow's. I think I'm saying that wrong, but yeah,
Have you seen what was it? I think Van Gogh Pikachu has a crazy pop, or like I know the Charizard promo from Champions Path has a pop of like 30,000 or something.
man,
Have you
Van
seen
Gogh, that's a nutty one.
Charizard Champions Path? It was actually the number one. It's like the number one graded Pokemon card of all time. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
How do I even look that up?
it's hard to believe that there was that many ETBs, honestly,
Yeah,
but because at that time they weren't available, you know.
look at this thing. Population 46,000
That's the standard right there.
in a 10, 28,000 in a 9. So that's probably about, I don't know what these numbers add up to. 70,000 graded Charizard promos.
Hey, if they were submitting those cards today, there'd probably be like 5,000 tens and like 7,000 nines and 600,000 eights. So
Probably. But yeah, this is insane to think about, like just the amount of. I think every modern card is gonna have a pretty high pop. I wonder if maybe that's why, we talked about the pops earlier. If pops are probably just never really gonna matter anymore. Because like once you have pop 5,000, pop 5,000, pop 5,000, it's not gonna look high anymore. It's just gonna be like a norm.
yeah,
So then when you have DROWZEE pop 300, you're like, whoa, that's pop 371 brand new Drowsy. That's low. It's a low pop card.
it is,
And you
and
got
that's
your Arcanine pop 80, and everyone's like, ah, it's not low.
right. That's the
Yeah.
thing is that we are in totally different sandboxes now.
Yeah.
400 is low today. 400 is extremely high.
Yeah.
Like, it, yeah, I don't know. That's tough.
I
When
know
we
it is really high.
when we think of low pop, it's less than 10. Like that's low
Yeah.
pop.
Yeah. I think
But nothing,
under like 30 or 40 maybe, even
yeah,
50 is like pushing the low pop. But I think like 30, like in the 30 range maybe is like really low pop. Especially like just because everyone's graded everything nowadays.
yeah.
But maybe I'm biased because my Umbreon is like a pop 42 2. So I want to stay in there a little bit.
Yeah, that's a big card, man. That's a big one.
Well, it's funny.
You haven't even seen it, right? You never even had it.
I've had it for 3 years now. Never seen them in person.
That's funny.
Well, because I'm thinking, I was like, dude, it's like I bought it. I paid an exuberant amount for it, like crazy. Funny enough, I'm not crazy about swirls. I like swirls. If you told me, hey, this Arcanine is 1,000, and then this Arcanine with the swirl is 1,000, I'll take the swirl one. If you tell me the Arcanine with the swirl is like 2,000, I'm like, I'll take the non-swirl one. You know, I'm like one of those.
100%.
But so the Umbreon, I've showed you, right? Like,
Yeah, I've seen
it doesn't have 4 swirls. It's kind of, I'm just kind of treading the line there. But
well, it's got like 3 partials, doesn't it? Like it's 4
Yeah.
swirl card for sure.
Yeah, it has like there's 4 on the card, but like one's like a portion, and then like one's big, and then I think 2 are big, and like the other 2 are like barely there.
Yeah.
But, like, it was so funny because there was 3 auction in the same week, and I was like eBay, PWC. I was like, PWC is sometimes like under the radar.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm gonna let those eBay ones go. I'm gonna get the PWC one, not even looking at the card. And apparently, everyone was on the PWC one because it had the swirls. So at that point, I was like, because all the eBay ones already sold, and I was like, I was debating on the price, and I was like, well, you never see these cards pop up. You never see 3 in a row. They're never gonna sell again. And I was like, I already let them go, so I just kind of like I kept bidding on it, and then I ended up winning. I paid 1,000 over the other 2 sold, and like literally days apart. So I paid 5,700 total,
Which
like
is-
everything. Yeah,
Which is less than it is today. So
which is insane because I thought I was always gonna be like, because like someone sold theirs privately for like 4,000. I was like, sick. Like 4,500 or 5,000. I was like, cool. It's, I'm still. But yeah, of course, like randomly now my crazy high price isn't even crazy high anymore. But it's like weird times.
yeah, I said this on my Instagram a couple of weeks ago, but I just think we're at the point where if you want a vintage card in a high grade,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to pay what someone wants for it.
You do,
because
especially low
they're,
pop.
they're not available.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a lot of people message me. So I put some. We briefly talked about this, but
eBay.
I put some stuff up on eBay at well over market price because it's for my PC, And if somebody wants it at that, then I'm willing to sell it for that. But I get so many messages where people are like, "Hey, this is market price. Will you sell it for that?" I'm like,
Nope.
my answer is usually, you should have bought that one if you were happy with the price. Like,
Yeah.
So
I mean, I agree. So I threw a Suicune EX on eBay. I put it 10,000. It's not 10,000, but it's literally the only English copy on eBay. I was just like, I just threw it there because I think the same with you. You kind of put your PC cards there because it's kind of, 1, you show it off. 2, it brings you views to eBay, right?
Mhm.
And 3, if someone wants to pay it, then someone pays it, and you're like, I'm cool with it. You're cool with it. Let's do the deal. So
Yeah.
I just threw it on there as pretty much as like a promotion for myself. But if someone pays it, I'll sell it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, easily.
I mean, maybe you wouldn't, but you would be surprised how many sales happen just because it's there and someone is like, I don't really care what the last price was. I want this card.
Yep.
I've done that myself. I'm usually a good deal hunter, but there's some cards. Like I recently purchased the black and white Mew Full Art EX, and it's not a super readily available card. And I was just like, you know what? I want this.
EX?
Yeah.
This one?
No, I think it's man, what side is it from?
Do you see it on the screen? Any of these?
Yeah, it's Dragon's Exalted, the third one. No, yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. But yeah, it's just sometimes if you want a card, you just buy it.
Was it a PSA 10?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
no.
just raw.
I don't collect tens. I know.
Oh, you do
I'm not
nines,
saying
right?
I know too much about grading because I don't, but I've graded and I've had enough successful crack and resubs
Yeah,
that tens buying tens to me doesn't make sense because I don't believe that the 10 standard is absolutely higher than the 9 standard than the 8 standard, but I think it's too inconsistent. I
I agree.
if I crack all my tens, I'm not getting all tens back. And I just think that to me my money is worth more than knowing that. So,
Hmm.
and there's great value in nines.
Yeah.
That card in a 10 is probably multi-$1,000, you know. I picked it up for $300.
How many nines could you get for a 10? Probably like three, four, five.
It seems like usually the rule of thumb is around 5, I would
Mhm.
say.
Yeah,
But
because I mean, thinking about you can get this Mew. Say there was like the Rayquaza, you can get Mew, Rayquaza, and someone else, all in nines, or you can get the one Mew in a 10. It's like for you, you a lot of the time, like you said, sometimes the nines are really just either they could have been harshly graded nine, and they could really be a secret 10 on a given day, or they're just like, dude, nines they're clean cards usually. They look the same.
mhm.
If it has a little white in the back, you just looking at the front anyways. So who
Yeah,
cares? So it's like, and you get three cards instead of one.
yeah,
But for you, it's better.
great value collecting
Yeah.
in my opinion. I love grading tens and selling them, but I don't buy them.
Dude, I'm so bad with it. I graded 10, and then I'm like, wow, I birthed it, and I'm like,
Well,
I
that's
can't sell it
on
now. It's
vintage
like it's mine
cards.
forever.
On vintage cards, that's how it is now because it's not easy. Like my Gengar that I graded,
Yeah.
I'm not in a hurry. I I'm telling. I've advertised that my price on that is $8,000, and
Hmm.
recently one sold on auction
Six,
for
right?
6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I am not. I'm not moving because I won't grade another one of those most likely.
Yeah. You don't really see those hit tens often.
Especially not with today's grading. I
Yeah.
mean, it's tough. Yeah.
You're lucky that card wasn't in your recent sub. Probably would have got like a nine, 8 or 9.
I probably would have got a 7, dude. The Celebi and the Espeon, man, it just makes me sick. The
Hmm.
fact that they can give these cards sevens is just, I don't know, it's weird.
That's a
But
weird thing because like I don't know if I have any sevens on me, but like sevens are very noticeably like light play.
they're bad. They're bad condition.
They're light play.
100%.
Light
100%.
play. Hmm.
Not anymore.
I know people are like, "Oh, but it's near mint on grade." It's like a loose near mint because like it, you can say it's like it's in the realms of like light play near mint for those kind of cards, but like yeah, for the cards you had like any given day should have been probably worst case like a 9. Maybe if they're like super off centered and have print lines an 8, but like I don't 7 doesn't make sense. Even an 8 usually has some very noticeable tells.
Yeah.
9 sometimes can look like perfect and you just don't know why I didn't get a 10, or 10s can look like almost a really nice 9. Like 10s and 9s sometimes are in like in that gray area, but 7 and 8s, you know why I got that number. It's like it's obvious.
Yeah. No, but we'll do a nice deep dive and have a good show and tell, and
Yeah,
that'll be a fun episode.
yeah, that will be. So we'll have to have fun with that one. But yeah,
But
we had a lot to talk about today.
yeah,
Just so everyone kind of sneakily got into it. Next one, we're just gonna talk about grading, grading, grading. Um, a lot of consistencies, inconsistencies, not just one company. You guys are probably aware that we talked about the whole video, but obviously every company's had a lot of changes. We even like the last couple of years, PSA, BGS, CGC. Curious on your thoughts about Tag. I've never used Tag. I've seen Tag obviously everywhere now, but we'll kind of go into those four. I don't know if
yeah,
there's another grading company that you'd even want to talk about. I know SGC is the thing. I don't really take them for consideration for Pokemon cards. I know they're really big in sports, but I think those four will be the main topics for the next grading episode. What do you
yeah.
think?
No, I like those. I like sticking to those 4.
Hmm.
I, SGC is kind of a bigger player with sports, but almost nobody grades Pokemon with SGC.
I was
So
surprised how big they are in sports.
actually, we should probably talk about GMA.
Jeez.
I bought a rock card. Somebody just gave me this slab.
That's
So
sick.
I don't even know what to do with it. It's an oddish.
That's funny. I saw there was now that you mention it, I was looking for a first edition Lugia PSA 9, and I got like a notification for a 10, but it was like some random like company,
Yeah,
and I was this one.
I think I've seen that one circulating.
You know what's funny?
I think it's pretty bad, isn't it?
I was
When
kind
you
of
look at the back
tempted to
of
like
it.
take a shot on it because it's like offer, but then I don't know if I could look in it too well. You can see the print lines already, and there's no light reflection. Like when you zoom in, it's easier on the phone. But I was like kind of
Yeah,
tempted to even look at it. I mean, who knows, dude? I have cards from like the oldest. Yeah, like there's a whitening right there in the corner, the edge right
yeah.
here. Yeah,
Automatic 7.
yeah. So like that's just on these poor quality photos. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, maybe I'm not gonna bother with that. Oh, here's PGC. Here's another one right there.
yeah. Hey,
But
you can get lucky sometimes. I remember I got it was I think it was AGS, a shining Lugia from Call of Legends. I
mhm,
bought it as a 7 and I regraded it as a 9. Like sometimes you can get lucky, you know.
right, yeah. Sometimes like overly hard or overly
Yeah,
critical or
some of
something.
them.
Yeah.
And that AGS was a AI company, so I
Hmm.
think it just got graded harshly.
Yeah, I wonder if it could have been like, you know how CGC's old formula was?
Yeah,
How they used to give non-holos 8.5s because you know what non-holos had? Scratches everywhere. You know why? Because they're in bulk. So like CGC was like, oh, scratch, 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 scratch. But like obviously, PSA, like they're the most minuscule scratches and they're not visible to your eye. So like the eye appeal's still there. So like
yeah.
they can get like nines and tens, which I agree with. Like I don't care about cards too much to be like, oh, your Pokemon card has like rubbing from the card behind it, so we're gonna give it an 8.5 surface. Like I think that's a little overkill. But
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I just kind of dove into the grading already. But
Yeah.
we're gonna
Well,
have a fun field day with grading video.
yeah, we
That'll be
sure
fun.
will. Well, we can
Cool.
probably wrap this one up, huh?
Yeah. So I just muted my thing. So just want to say thank you for getting it started. Thank you everyone for listening. If you did listen the whole time, appreciate you. I'll put some timestamps in here if people just want to jump to segments. Um, yeah, just please leave a like, leave a comment. Do the if you were here during the Arcanine and what was Bubble
Mew.
Mew?
Yeah, yeah.
Bubble Mew in there. Which one you like more? Other than that, let us know what you guys think about the discussions we had. Definitely would love to hear what you guys think. And really appreciate you guys' time, just letting us talk and just vent out stuff. And be ready for next episode because it will be something.
Hell
So, any
yeah.
closing words for you?
No, I appreciate you wanting to take this on with me. I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have another outlet to talk about the hobby. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, thanks for checking it out, everyone.
Of course.
Looking forward to the next one.